Wednesday morning, friends. Mark Holmes still here with Joe Boo, who's still taking the Cardinals loss pretty hard. And Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football gods. How you guys doing today? It's the middle of the week on a short week. We got Thirsty Thursday, finally freaking Friday, and then of course we got Eagles Saturday coming up. Philly 500 is already convinced that, hey, we're just going to be resting starters. This game doesn't count. So he's literally saying that they're going to lose and so on, and banking on if the Cowboys and the Eagles meet, it'll be for the third time in the season, in which case he's banking on that the Cowboys just can't win a third game. We'll have to wait and see where that goes and so on. But, I'll be talking to my son here at some point and hope that he's not going to be a welcher like his brother, Cop Pizzle. But then again, do we really want Cop Pizzle rooting for the Cowboys? Yeah, his team, minus 10 yards passing in a game. Wow. Yeah. Anyway. I am glad that somebody else is now saying some of the same things that I'm saying. When I talk about the Cowboys, I get told, you're not credible, you're not, you don't work for the Dallas News or, one of the publications, you're not in Bleacher Report, you're not an expert, you're just a village idiot, reporting live from your basement, which is true. I am the village idiot, and I'm not that bright. When I go through and I look at the games, and I tell you that, hey, the kickers makes a bunch of kicks. And in fact, we've had 3 games that were total losses by 8 points, and 14 points were left behind by the kicker. Then I just told you, just making excuses for Dak. When I say that Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard, that we haven't had a rusher rush for over 75 yards in a game since week 6 against the Giants, you're just making excuses for Dak Prescott. And when I say that the offensive line has been in flux since Tyron Smith got hurt, I still hear that the Dallas Cowboys have an elite offensive line. Anybody out there who's played offensive line, or running back for that matter, looking at the Dallas Cowboys offensive line the first 6 games of the season versus then the next games can tell you that it's a night and day difference. It is. It just is. From the time Tyron Smith got hurt, everything changed on the offensive line. Everything. Because we actually had Terrence Steele playing great at right tackle. Tyron Smith was back to his old Tyrannosaurus self, throwing people with one arm. Connor Williams was getting a lot of flags, but it was okay because you had Zach Martin, who has yet to get a penalty this year, doing well. And you had, of course, Tyler Badish sometimes getting beat in the middle against really physical guys like Vita Vea. But it was still able to do some things. So enter Tyron Smith getting hurt, La'el Collins coming back. I don't think La'el Collins is where he was 2 years ago. Remember, he missed all of last year, of course, with the hip injury issue and so on. He played the first game, then had to sit out for the 6 games because of the situation with the drug testing. Terrence Steele, who is in the second year as an undrafted rookie free agent, second-year player, who was playing great at right tackle, then gets shifted to left tackle. And everything's reversed. Doesn't play quite as well. La'el Collins doesn't end up playing as well as Terrence Steele was at right tackle. And then you had the Connor Williams penalties get worse, and then you started mixing in there Connor McGovern. Enter Connor McGovern, who can't get to the second level. And by that I mean being able to get to the linebackers. That's where you end up getting those yards that are over 6 yards per play because the linebackers are getting blocked. So then they go back to Connor Williams, okay? Then you've got Tyron Smith coming back in for part of the Washington game and then gets hurt again. You have constantly this flux on the offensive line. And as Gene Taylor put it, Right now, they're about average at best. And I have to agree with that because, we can look at Zeke and say, Zeke, he has lost some steps. I'll be 100% real. But there aren't the holes there to run. So let me read exactly what they said. The line doesn't consistently move defenders and create holes for Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard in the running game. They don't protect long enough for Dak Prescott to feel comfortable going through his reads and throwing deep. They commit way too many penalties, an embarrassing 52 as a unit. And if they can't play any better than they did Sunday against Arizona, the Cowboys' offensive woes will continue. Prescott led the NFL in rushing, which should never happen. Led the team. Elliott and Pollard combined for 25 yards on 12 carries. Understanding that sports are fluid and what's true in the morning might be false in the afternoon, which is very, very true. And what's true today might not be true tomorrow, next week, so on, because, the NFL, you can go from the penthouse to the outhouse in one day. The Cowboys did have one of the best offensive lines early in the season when they were building a 6-1 record. At least they were playing that way. The offense averaged 29.1 points per game, 402 yards per game, and hung 35 points on Bill Belichick's defense on the road. But then, as I go on, and like I said, once Tyron Smith got hurt, it just went downhill. And if the Cowboys can't get this offensive line together, and as much as everybody wants to say, well, Dak just sucks, he misses reads, you got to see that he is in the trash compactor now. When I say the trash compactor, it's that pass rush they had of the Cardinals that didn't leave any lanes. Everything is right there in your face. So that's why you're seeing all these batted down balls, because the guys are closing in. I'm trying to get that ball down the field. There's not enough time to get down the field. And I've got to get rid of the ball sooner than I want, thus having bad throws or missed opportunities or bad ball placement. When a quarterback is comfortable and can survey the field, get his first, second, third read, he will find an open man. But our offensive line has got to do a better job than what they're doing. I know the trolls and the Dak Prescott haters, because it's cool to hate Dak Prescott again. It's cool to trash the quarterback. But understanding and being a football fan that's knowledgeable, you can look all the way around and see that this team, everybody needs to step up. If everybody can do 5% better than what they've been doing, this team will be fine. If we can get, instead of 4 penalties on the offensive line, maybe 2. How about that? If we can get a hole 6 inches wider, maybe Zeke and Tony Pollard can break one for more than 3 or 4 yards. If the offensive line can hold up for just another second, keep the defensive line a little bit further up the field. Dak can survey the field a little bit. Give the receivers more time to get into the routes and be able to hit those plays. If the kicker can just make freaking kicks, and if we don't give up some deep passes, the team will be okay. If we don't, well, then we might be, like they say, one and done. I always like to listen to the talking heads. Rich Eisen, who is truly one of the old heads and one of the originals of NFL Network, is usually about the most fair and balanced guy out there. Let's hear what Rich has to say about the Cowboys.
What did I tell you in my 4 downs before going away? What did I tell you about the Cowboys' Achilles heel?
I agreed with you.
It's their kicker. And Zerline, right off the bat, misses a field goal, and they lose by 3 later on. And Here's what I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear we're playing against the refs, too. Because every game, as Leighton Vander Esch said, playing against the refs, a couple of the other players were saying, too, playing against the refs. Refs were on the field, I believe, when you waxed Washington, right? Wow. Refs were on the field when you also beat Washington in Washington. When you collapsed on Taylor Heineke like the wall did on Jalen Hurts in FedEx Field. Okay? Refs are out there when Micah Parsons has a rookie season that rivals Lawrence Taylor's, and Diggs is picking off all these passes. Come on. Was that a fumble last night? Was that a fumble last night that Chase Edmonds put that ball on the turf?
Yes.
You could sit here and say no.
It was.
You could sit here and say yes. You didn't have a timeout. Why didn't you have a timeout? Because Arizona pulled an okie doke on you earlier in the game when you thought they were going to kick, and they run Kyler Murray out there on the field. So special teams blew it. You blew it on special teams.
Get your damn act together.
Oh, shit.
You blew it on defense, too, earlier in the game. You're blowing it on defense when Arizona kept picking up first downs. And this is an Arizona team that, as you know, was having trouble once again closing out games over the last 3 weeks in the same way they had trouble closing out games and missed the playoffs last season. You blew it on offense a couple times when they didn't have DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, blew it on defense a couple times with DeAndre Hopkins. Blew it on offense, too. All three phases did not click. All leading up to a moment where an official says, guys down by contact, and you don't have a timeout to actually challenge it. Too bad. But that's the ref's fault. It's the ref's fault.
But, Rich,
hey, man,
play before.
It's called consistency. It's called what the Packers have. The Cowboys don't have it right now.
You blew it!
Can you get it back?
Oh,
Absolutely, you
man.
can get it back. No question about it. Go beat the Eagles. Go beat the Eagles, and then play a playoff game at home. You're going to play a playoff game at home. Right now, it looks like you're going to face the Dallas Cowboys. I have all the scenarios here in front of me, all the playoff clinching scenarios right here in my hand. Okay. More often than not, there are how many different permutations? I think about 30 different permutations is the way the NFC seeding can finish up. There are only 4 scenarios in which Dallas is not the 4 seed out of all of them.
Yep. We screwed
And
ourselves.
for those scenarios to happen, San Francisco's got to beat the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
And Carolina's got to win. Seattle's got to win. A couple of them, too. Seattle and San Francisco both have to win for that
Carolina,
to happen.
though.
Dallas is going to be the 4 seed, sir. And they're going to have to take on either the Rams or the Cardinals again. Okay. That's it.
It was a fun game.
Yep.
That's it.
You got a chance
and
at
you
redemption.
best not be up and down. You better have both sides of the ball. And that third phase where you got Prater's on the field and we got to burn the timeout because here comes Kyler Murray. Need that one later on.
Well, I mean,
hey, man, it's not the
Twitter,
ref's fault. Is that the ref's fault?
I mean, you're
saying
against
the refs? No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at you.
You're looking at me like
I'm sorry. I'll look at the camera.
It.
Is that the ref's fault, Dallas? Is that the ref's fault?
I put on Twitter, once again, missed field goals and poor timeout management cost the Cowboys a game. I agreed with you. I told you, Zerline in the fourth quarter is great. The start games, he stinks. He's lost 3 games himself for us by missing very makeable field goals. So
give it up to these people, too.
Yeah.
It's not the refs. Chandler Jones balled out. That guy put a defensive player of the year 4 quarters on the field when they needed it.
He did.
Big time. That guy was terrific. Isaiah Simmons knocking the ball out of Dak's hands.
Buda Baker.
Wasn't the refs making a great play, coming all the way back after missing Dak in the pocket to track him down and knock the ball loose. Give it up to Kyler Murray and Chase Edmonds and Zach Ertz, who Steve Keim stole from the Eagles because he was available for whatever reason.
Yep.
Dallas Bell pull it together. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.
Appreciate that, Rich. You usually tell it like it is. I will agree with you that we got beaten all 3 phases. The week before, we actually played great in all 3 phases, and we blow out Washington. So you can see the tale of 2 teams. When they don't show up, they look like ass. When they do, they can put it together. They can do magical things. And I'm still mystified. Greg DeLeg, who started out the season, on the PUP list, who wasn't ready for Tampa Bay, who has left a lot of kicks, 6. It feels like deja vu to when we had Brett Maher. Brett Maher had the Cowboys record for a field goal kick. And, it seemed like because of that, they held on to him for too long. And it ended up being that he ended up being one of the worst kickers that year when he finally was let go. And here it is. We've had games that we've lost with the kicker. But it goes beyond the kicker. You know, you have to look at all of the phases that there were failures. It ended up being that the punter for the Cardinals ended up being special teams player of the week with the fake punt. We weren't ready for it. We gave it up. That directly led to another score, and, of course, the Cardinals having the ball, which was another nail in the coffin. All these little pieces are right there that we need, but somebody's got to make a play. Somebody's got to make a play on defense besides Diggs and Micah Parsons. Somebody's got to make a block out there besides Zach Martin. Somebody's got to make a run like Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott. We just need a little bit here and there. All these little pieces. There's a play here and a play there that is different. That game is a totally different outcome. Totally different. If we have that timeout, we can call and say, hey, you guys screwed up. We got the ball with a chance to win. If the officials, the play before, call it correctly because the guy was out of bounds and stop the clock, we don't use one of those timeouts. If the offensive line does not get the flags when Zeke Elliott runs for 21 yards, one of the best runs he's had in forever, you get a first down instead of 1st and 17. All these things add up to a loss, but it's not that far away. That's the whole thing that I see. And the fact that you do have people who are capable. It's one thing if you don't have the talent and the people who have shown that they can do it. They've never done it, but they have. They have put it together. They have made kicks. They have made catches. They have made runs. They have made blocks. It's now a matter of getting back to what they have done. And can they do it? I don't know. I hope they do. I pray they do, because I do not want to see another one-and-done playoff stints. And with that being said, I've got some work to do, and I've got a meeting today. I've got actually a online meeting with Inventables because I'm looking to finally get that CNC machine, because so many of you guys have been asking for me to be able to customize different things for them, put your name on it or a profile or logos and stuff. So I'm actually going to look at finally biting the bullet on that one. So I've got a meeting on that. So with that being said, you know how we roll.
Our Colts here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is